Are you feeling ready?
Oh.
Let's do some warm-up games.
Okay.
All right, we'll start with get you mentally prepared.
Yeah.
The bird game, but Dragon Ball Z characters.
Oh, all right. Paper, scissors, rock. Who goes first?
Okay.
You did that last time.
Goku.
Bulma.
Gohan.
Vegeta.
Goten.
Trunks.
I took too long.
Do I win?
Yeah, you win.
Two brothers.
Daddy. Dad.
I'm the father.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Hungries. We're dads. And this is the Dad vs. Dad podcast.
That was way uncomfortable. I hated that.
That was great. I loved it. It's perfect.
Um,
Our cadence was the same and everything.
Yeah, they'll be like, man, they really do sound like robots.
Yeah. They're going to think that was a rehearsed. It was so good.
That wasn't rehearsed for anyone.
Was not rehearsed. That was 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, bang. But I did have to sit and quote the name for a minute beforehand.
Yeah, you had to at least remember what we were saying.
Oh.
But that's probably the first time we haven't made a mistake on it in a while.
No, I think I do it right every time now.
Good.
The last few times, you're a failure.
Yeah. What happened to you this week?
Fucking heaps. I wrote it down because it's...
You don't have to start with the
Oh,
cuss.
no, I didn't write it down. It was the one thing I didn't write down.
Well, you'll just have to remember off the top of your head what happened this week.
All right. Oh, we watched Joker.
We did.
How did you find it?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You loved it.
I did think it was very good because it didn't have Batman in it.
Yes,
No, it was a
did.
good movie.
Right at the end.
Yeah, it did have, but he wasn't Batman. yet.
And, yeah, no, it was really cool. Though.
He was Orphan
How cool was
Kid.
that weird connection?
What, the connection to Batman?
Yeah.
It seemed very thrown in. It didn't need to be in it. It had this one of some random protester guy joined in.
What I love about the way that they're doing the movies now is it's not all defined Batman character. He's been there for years. He's all Batman. He knows everything. He's not an established Batman. He's just this. It's all early days. The Joker one was very early DC stuff.
Yeah.
And then the new Batman, I'm not going to ruin it, but it's early Batman before he was a philanthropist.
That's what every Batman series does, though. They always, when they're starting a new Batman series, it'll either show his parents dying, so it's way, way at the start, or it's he's just freshly Batman. That's not a new take. They always do that.
But they never put Batman as a newer guy.
The Nolan movies did.
Oh, no. They did it bad, though. He didn't portray an early Batman.
But he was an early Batman.
No, he was a philanthropist already. He was already out spending his cash as Batman.
Yeah. Probably the old 90s Batman probably did too. I don't know. I'm guessing. It's also that's Marvel does that with every movie.
Oh.
They all go through the costume changes. They'll
watched-
start off in like a home knitted mask or whatever, and then they get better at sewing, or they meet someone who makes costumes or whatever. There's always the evolution in all of them. Even Iron Man, he starts off with the crappy big tin can suit.
Oh, but he was in a cave.
Yeah, I know, he made it in the cave, but it's still the evolution. He had this crappy Iron Man suit.
Are you watching
Iron
all
Man
of
suits.
Marvel just because you know I love DC?
Yeah.
It's specifically an attack on me, is
Yes,
it?
it is. No, one thing I found really interesting about Joker was how they made all of his murders hilarious. They weren't.
Oh,
They were weirdly. They were if it was delivered in any other way, they would be really traumatic murders. They were really intense scenes. But just the timing of
it was
them,
just full on.
and the situations, having a little dwarf in the corner while
It's
he's
so uncomfortable.
yeah,
Every moment, but that awkward, I don't know what to do with myself.
yeah,
Love it, yeah.
just funny movie.
Great, huh?
Yeah.
And how he's reaching up for the door. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Really, yeah, really clever movie.
If I gave you a DC comic, would you ever sit and read it?
Well, maybe. I have been meaning to read
I've been meaning to for like 7
anything.
years.
I just need to, like, and I read a lot on my phone.
Yep.
Most of like tweets and things or news articles and that kind of thing. But I think I'd like to sit down and read a book.
I used to read Tucker Max, but I did audiobooks for a while. I want to read the new Dave Grohl book
Okay.
because he has a lot of stories.
Yeah, but I've done audiobooks before,
Yeah.
but I don't want to do that. I want to read a book. Yeah.
Do you need a Kindle or would
Like,
it has
'cause
to be hard
I-
copy trophy book? People treat books as trophies.
No, I could do a Kindle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind the trophy aspect of it. I think it's kind of fun.
that's
Like,
why I
look
do the
at all
comics
these.
because I love the like
I've read these.
yeah, and they all look good.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause
the
you can't,
cover
like,
art.
You upload your Twitter, your Kindle output, whatever. I've read this many books.
No one's sitting there looking through your
Yeah.
thing going, wow.
On your Facebook thing. Yeah, but if you like walk into a house and there's a big bookshelf.
Well, we used to when we
Whenever-
were growing up. We used to have a bookshelf, and it wasn't like encyclopedias and everything fancy,
Yeah.
but it was like the typical books, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
You know, I
I've-
always liked bookshelves.
I've got a bookshelf.
Do you?
Yeah. It's got 2
Oh.
car manuals, 2 cookbooks, and a few weird random books. I don't know, like there's some like science books and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some sewing books as well.
I think I got like Dave Mustaine's autobiography and Bruce Dickinson somewhere.
You read them?
Started on the Bruce Dickinson one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just because he was like growing up in rough England.
I don't know. I should pick a book and read it. A real book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what yet.
Any recommendations? Send them in.
Suggest my first book in a long time. Like the last real book I read,
Yeah.
I believe, was the last Harry Potter before they started making the movies. So I think like Harry Potter 4.
Are
That
you
was the
kidding me?
last book
That
I
was
read.
Like, you were a kid.
Yeah. So whenever whenever the first movie came out, that's around the time I stopped reading.
No.
That's not true. I did read a few Janet Ivanovich books.
Who's Janet Ivanovich?
It was like this female bounty hunter thing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Paula used to read them.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, they were like One for the Money and all that. Apparently they made a movie and it was really crappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember you going through those. Yeah.
Yeah. So I read maybe 10 of those. So but that still would have been probably school time. So I wouldn't have read since high school at least.
See, my wind down time is watching something.
Yeah, me too. Watching something or playing games.
And I'd say I can't touch a computer. I can't sit and do anything. Like if I record or edit or play with anything on the computer, that's me for the night. I'll be up till 3 a.m. because my mind is constantly.
Yeah.
But I have to sleep with I have to put my phone on my bedside table, put on a show, watch it until I feel sleepy enough to roll over and sleep.
Yeah. Apparently that, like, the blue light and everything from your phone, watching that at night actually, like, although you're using it as like a sleepy mechanism, it's not good for your sleep. So, like, if you spent that last few hours in a book instead, it would be much better for your sleep. You probably sleep better.
See, I tried doing like the meditation music.
I don't know. The thing I said, try that. Read a book. They're not the same.
Yeah, no. See, but I think there's it's because the ADHD brain
Yeah.
is constantly going.
That's the thing. I'm like, where do I fit in time to read a book?
That's
like,
it.
all of my spare, like, I could just not watch TV. That's an option. That is an option. Or while the TV's on, I could read a book.
Yep.
While there's a million times I could replace doing this stupid thing with reading a book.
No one ever has time to read a book.
Well, and think, when you're flipping through your phone, reading nonsense for probably hours, that could be book reading time.
Yeah.
And you're not reading anything good on there. You see a few funny memes.
I always feel like people who read books are much more educated than I am.
They seem like, yeah.
I've got a very, very smart friend.
Yeah.
Just one.
Does he read books?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, good.
And like he studied philosophy. He read all the philosophy books, and he's like, he comes from like an academic family.
Yeah.
Very wise guy.
I hate philosophy.
Do you?
Yeah. It's so much like, hey, maybe this. Like, it's none of it's concrete anything. It's just kind of like, oh, these are pretty cool thoughts, aren't they? Like, yeah,
I think
those are pretty cool thoughts. Like, they're kind of delving into like the human mind with maybes and like.
You know what I hate about it? I hate Ben Shapiro. That's what I hate about philosophy.
What? He's not like a philosopher. He's not.
No, because he comes across as all how the
It's philosophical.
philosophical. He comes across as though he's questioning everything, but he just comes across as a wanker.
Well, he is a wanker.
He is a wanker.
But
and how
like,
fast does he speak?
he's probably pretty smart, but
he's probably a genius. He's just a wanker.
He has a lot of dumb philosophies. Yeah, so that was your week.
How's your week?
Yeah, pretty good. Didn't do much. I just worked. Nothing exciting happening. Nothing exciting. I've been watching Top Gear, as you know.
Yep.
I finished the Clarkson episodes.
Yeah.
Clarkson the boys.
How did that end?
So
was that
I'll tell you.
Thanks. I'll
So
wait and listen.
What happened? It's just like a normal episode, and then the next episode, it's just got James and Richard on. Whoa. They're in the studio with no audience. It's just them two in the studio. They're like, this is just a bit different episode, and they just showed some clips that they recorded before Jeremy was fired. So they'd just been adventures that they'd been on. One of them, they bought some crappy old SUVs.
Oh, yeah.
And did some SUV stuff, and I can't remember what the other one was.
So like a, what do they call them, those sorts of episodes?
Well, there's a few, because they're like mini adventures.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the big ones where they go to another country and do all the crazy stuff. It was just like small little fun adventures and tests and that kind of thing, competitions.
Yeah, okay.
And then the very next episode, it's got the new guys. It's got Matt LeBlanc and Chris Evans. Not the American Chris Evans, but the redhead, thick glasses Chris Evans.
Matt LeBlanc, isn't he?
Joey.
It's got Joey.
Yeah.
It has Joey.
Yeah.
It has actual Joey.
Yes. Yeah, he's been with them for years. I think he's only living...
No.
Yeah. He's okay. Like, I'm up to like the second or third season with them. Chris Evans left. And they're kind of starting to build this camaraderie kind of thing.
Yeah.
One of the guys, I can't remember the other guys' names. Chris Harris, I think.
Doesn't it ruin
Chris
it
Harris
though, being
and Rory something.
Doesn't it ruin it being Matt LeBlanc?
Why?
Just because it's him?
No, he's okay. Like, he's not Joey. He's very not Joey. He's very American. He's pretty funny on it, actually. Like, he's not the other three guys.
Is he a car guy?
The thing is,
he's
a super car guy. He's a really car guy.
Okay.
I
might actually watch Friends and hate it a bit less.
The three of them have, they're kind of building that camaraderie sort of thing. Whenever they're pissed off at him, they call him Joey. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Like, if the previous Top Gear didn't exist, this show would be just like, wow, this is amazing. They're talking cars. They're pretty funny. But like...
They would have lost such a big fan base, though.
Oh, they definitely did.
Like, you would almost cut the show.
Yeah. It's great, but it's not even close to as good. Still enjoying it. I'm looking forward to finishing this and then starting Grand Tour again. Getting back on Clarkson and that.
Do you ever... I just can't commit to something once I hate it.
Oh, I don't hate it.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, I go through these shows and there's like a slight change and I'm like, I'm just not here for this.
Like the middle seasons of... You're watching Bob's now, aren't you?
I love Bob's.
But I feel like season maybe like 5 to 8. Like there was
Yeah.
like
just
4
weird,
or 5
like,
seasons where...
everything was bland.
Yeah, nothing happens. Like the first few seasons, everything's established. The characters are this way. And then like for 5 seasons, it's just the characters being the characters.
Yep.
Like there's no new jokes or anything. It's just kind of very bland. Like there's an occasional chuckle here and there, but it's really quite dull for a while.
It was pretty bland.
It is news time. And I think this will hype you up. I'll go first. Because I have magpie news.
Hey!
Yeah. I love magpie news.
I love magpies.
Yeah, magpies are the best. Okay, so. Oh, that was bad timing. That's okay. So, researchers have been studying the sleep of magpies. Sleep. And they've noticed that if their sleep in the night is interrupted or if they're kept up a bit late, they will sleep in.
Really?
They'll have a sleep in. And because, first thing in the morning, they wake up and they do their little call. Yeah, so that call, that's to do with like territory and that kind of thing. It's kind of establishing, this is our home, this is where we live, that kind of thing.
Bitches.
But if they get a bad sleep at night, they'll wake up quite a bit later.
Yeah.
And their song won't be as interesting. It'll be a bit more bland, a bit slower, and it drags on a bit longer as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whereas like something as important as like waking up and talking about your territory.
Yeah.
Like that would be a pretty high priority, but like if they're a bit sleepy, no, I'm going to sleep in today.
You know what it is? It's like they wake up and they cruise around. They're like, "Hey, if anyone's here, we're just like it's still our home. You just get out."
Yep.
Tired guys.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's fun.
There's like such a cool personality.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that they've been studying these birds recently is because magpies are super social. Like their social groups and everything are really, really close.
Yeah.
Which like I see a lot of cockatoos on my balcony. Like,
Yeah.
Because we've got so many cockatoos living around our apartment.
Yeah.
And they interact a little bit, but they mostly all seem like strangers. They don't seem to know each other very well. Like I did see 2 like grooming each other.
Yeah.
Like they take turns
Oh, that's so
scratching
cool.
each other for like it's like a good 30 minutes.
They're so cockatoos. One of the funniest things that I remember Mum called Dad one time, and Dad's like yelling on the phone, "Hello? Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "Why do you have the TV so loud? Why are you yelling?" He's like, "Oh, the cockatoos." Because they're just like, because he lived near the park, it was just like always cockatoos.
They were so loud at his house.
100.
They were really loud.
Yeah.
They're not so. I don't rarely hear them at my place. Like you'll hear them, but it's not as loud as Dad's place.
Yeah, Dad's house. But I mean, you have a lot more like more businesses around.
Yeah.
There's a lot more traffic. You're near a primary school, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Dad's house was like, it was a little cul-de-sac with a park nearby.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of traffic.
Nope.
In Canberra residential properties, no one leaves the house
No.
ever. So, before the pod, we were talking about purchasing a home, and what the market's like at the moment and how we've seen things around.
Yeah.
What would you say if you heard a 6-year-old bought a home?
I would say, fuck you, little man. I would congratulate him. Why?
So, this parent is boasting about how their 6-year-old, how he taught his 6-year-old that it's the importance of investing in homes and things like that. Love that. Very proud. Good. Teach your kids young, and especially in this market, start them young.
Yeah.
But he's boasting about how his 6-year-old saved up all their pocket money and bought a home for $671,000 in Melbourne.
Get like $20,000 a week in pocket money.
Each child, so it's a family, but the 6-year-old put in, they're kind of boasting about the 6-year-old,
Yeah.
put in $2,000 of their hard-earned pocket money, and mum and dad forked out the rest.
Yeah.
What good parents. This isn't a fucking wholesome story
No.
for any Australian.
I've seen, there's a lot of articles you see about this, like how, like, I saved $100,000 in 1 year by just knuckling down and working hard. And then you delve into it, and I lived with my uncle, so I didn't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
And I saved actually 30,000, and my parents contributed 70,000.
Yeah.
Like, it's always,
There's nothing in it that's wholesome or news or like, how did they do that? That's great. I can do that.
Well, you
no
never-
one is benefiting. It's just these fucking rich assholes.
Yeah.
Like Trump, I started my business with a small $1 million loan.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
yeah, you get $1 million loan. Same with a lot of those guys who started in the garage, like Bezos and
Yeah.
all the Bill Gates.
Which he
all of
started
them.
in a hedge fund before
They
that,
did.
where it's,
They did start in a garage, but they have a lot of funding behind it.
yeah.
And yeah, those stories, they never ever like encouraging or wholesome or anything, because it's like, oh, this person bought a house, or this person saved up so much money, or they paid off their debt so quickly. And it's like, because their parents helped them out. It's always 100% of the time the article gets to the
Yeah.
point. Because if it was real,
Bank of
it
Mum
would
and
be
Dad.
like,
Thanks.
this guy saved up for a mortgage deposit in 10 years. Find out how. Like, no one, 10 years, great. Like, no one has the attention span to think, I'm going to dedicate the next 10 years to saving up and doing the right thing. And I don't think it'll take 10 years.
I think what I'm finding really difficult with the whole like getting into the market. I remember on an earlier pod we talked about how it was like you have to do things in a certain order to progress.
Oh, your
correctly.
lame
and you
order.
you thought it was ridiculous.
Hate it.
This is the reason.
Why?
Because when you're trying to buy a home with a family behind you, you're not saving that much money.
Yeah.
If I were a single person,
So your order of doing things is wrong then?
absolutely it is.
Yeah.
I did it wrong.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is because they talk about how you're like meant to get married and then buy a house and then have kids is the reason that that structure works is because you can't afford to buy a home if you have kids. And now they're pulling out all this like, oh, you can get a 5% loan and a first homeowner. It's like no parent is getting in on that.
Yeah.
If I live by myself, I could save 80 grand a year.
Yeah.
I can't do that with kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So the real way to do it, stay single, save, buy a house, stay single, save, buy another house and another house and another house, build an empire, stay single,
And
enjoy
buy
video
a
games.
wife.
No, you don't. Yeah, you can buy those dolls now. They don't even talk. They just, the dream.
I was watching another podcast where they apparently have to send the vagina of those away to get cleaned.
Yeah, they do need to be cleaned out.
Yuck.
Yeah, because, yep.
Who's rooting robots?
What? A lot of people now. They're yeah, we don't need to get into it, but they're very popular. For the record, I don't have a robot.
No, you can't afford one.
No, I can't afford it.
When you get your empire.
Yeah. Now, I have sent you some images now
Alright.
from the trendy activewear brand Gymshark.
Oh, sick.
Yes.
Hey, Gymshark.
These are behind the scene images. These aren't their big promo images.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Yep, that's one of them. And look at the other one. Now, there's outrage about these. Can you note the glaring issue in these images?
Hang on. You know what? I know what they're going to say.
Well, yeah, because
They're talking about the thing is, this is quite diverse.
It is. It's
Right.
a very diverse cast
There's-
of people.
There's a wheelchair lady.
There's a disabled woman, yep.
There's there's all sorts of skin colors there.
And being women, they're all mentally disabled.
Let you have that one.
Maybe we
a lot of
cut that one.
diversity. They're all gym goers and they are all fit.
Yes. Apparently, hundreds of women are outraged at the oversight that none of them are fat.
It's a gym wear.
It's, one thing, it's gym wear. Now, some gym brands and some active brands like Adidas and that kind of thing, they are putting very, very large women in some of their advertising and that kind of thing. And that's fine for them. I mean, and I think advertising,
Okay.
it's, you're promoting to people like...
Okay. You are
Some-
not going to put a large person on a promotion for anything gym related.
No, Adidas does. Adidas does now.
But Adidas is a multi-brand thing. They do shoes, they do everything,
Yeah.
they do bags. They're not just promoting to gym goers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about specifically, if you promoted your gym, you owned a gym,
Yeah.
and you were like, come to our gym, look, wheelchair ladies,
Before people.
darker skin,
Yeah.
multicultural, disabled, and fat people.
Yeah.
And there's like, people are going to
Well, I
see
think
the bigger person and go, I'm not going to that gym. This
Well,
person's still...
They just
They
started though.
didn't
That's
do
fine.
this. No, but that's...
They've just started going.
Look, it's a benefit to promote it. It's for bigger people,
Yeah.
it's a benefit.
Yeah.
For their bigger community
Yeah.
and their income, it's not a benefit.
Well, I don't
I don't
think it's just that. I think there is a lot of benefit to appealing to a wide range of bodies and audiences and that kind of thing. Like sometimes it might be better to just be like, look, if you wear these, you'll end up fit and thin, like, or whatever. Or like,
Yeah.
you want to look like this, buy our clothes and you'll get there, kind of thing. But I don't think it's a huge issue if a company decides to not include every different possible body size in their advertising.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
I don't think it's it's not like a problem that they haven't. A lot of companies don't or haven't yet started putting big models in their things. And I think every brand should do their own thing and they're all allowed to.
you're allowed to do whatever you want. And personally, I don't think, like, I'm not saying bigger people aren't bigger, beautiful, proud, whatever.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I certainly don't have a problem with
and
them.
I'm not, and the whole argument of like, you can't be a bigger model because it promotes unhealthy lives. You can be a bigger person and healthy as shit.
Yeah.
Like, and happiness in this whole thing is more important than anything. But
Yeah.
But as a business model, if you are trying to grow your business, you're not going to sell kids' toys to adults. You know, you're not going to be like, hey, adults, buy this toy because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You promote the toys to kids because kids are going to be like, whoa, mum and dad, I need this toy. This is sick, because they're going to do the promoting for you.
Yeah.
But you're not, you promote to your market.
Yeah.
Gym gear for those really fit, ongoing gym people are going to be the biggest spenders of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because less bigger people go to the gym than more fitter people.
Yeah. It's a silly thing that they're saying that is an issue
Yeah,
that is missing. It's like,
it's dumb.
it doesn't, like, it's not an issue if it is there, and it's not an issue if it isn't there. Like, not everything's going to cater to everyone 100% of the time, and that's fine. Not everything is for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't advertise running shoes to disabled people.
I didn't see one rainbow flag. I didn't see one gay person, and they could have been. They just weren't promoting it. One of those people could be.
They should have let us know so that we knew and we could be happy that
That's it. I didn't see anyone throwing up in a bucket.
No.
There was no promotion of people who suffer with, bulimia.
No, there wasn't.
I didn't see one anorexic person.
Do you know Tess Holiday?
Yeah.
Did you know she suffers from anorexia?
I did see that.
It's a big problem.
You know, that is okay. This goes into the whole topic of like trans people as well. It's believing in something that technically you're not in the eyes of other people, but in your head you believe that you are. So who are they to judge?
Yeah.
So that's a whole thing. She can be anorexic. I wouldn't have thought that at first glance, but I also don't think men who believe that they're women look like girls, and I should assume that.
Yeah. A thing with, like, because anorexia is a mental problem.
It is.
Where, like, you will starve yourself to the point, like, dangerous levels where, like, you need to eat, you are wasting away to nothing kind of thing.
But a lot of people do it as a control mechanism.
Yeah. I don't think
they're unhappy.
Yeah.
I can't control this part of my life, so I'll do it here.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Johns from Silverchair was anorexic.
Yeah.
And the reason that he did it was actually... So in Silverchair, he was bullied to shit. Like, he would walk the streets of Newcastle and people would be screaming out of their cars the F slur and calling him names. When in another state, he was the most popular person ever.
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's good.
But his story of anorexia was that he couldn't control anything to do with his music life, how people thought of him, but he could control what he put in his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think, like, Tess Holiday's argument, like, she has these times where she's like, because she's so pressured by society and that kind of thing, she might not eat. She might skip a meal or something. But she's never gotten to the point where she's doing it to a dangerous extent. Yeah. She could probably not eat for a decade and she'd be fine. Like,
probably be our size.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean,
yeah.
If it's a mental thing,
it is a mental thing, but help. I think she probably has a problem with food, but I wouldn't say that that's...
You know what, though? It's probably one of those things where, like, maybe she was seeing a psychologist and she's like, sometimes I just feel so pressured.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because of that, I might feel like I need to miss a meal. And
the
psychologist was like, yeah, a lot of people with eating disorders have that, like anorexia. People have that, similar trait. And she's like, I'm anorexic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like relating that one comment to another thing. And it's not true. They just like... This is a similarity, so I am this.
Yeah. It's very attention grabby, and I think it probably makes people with anorexia feel awful. Like, you're a success story. Shut up.
Although people with anorexia probably look at her and go,
"You're anorexic."
Speaking of people in the public,
one of us.
No.
Okay.
Speaking of public success and everything like that, people in the public image that probably go overboard and shouldn't be anymore, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yeah.
So, Johnny Depp starred in movies, so did Amber Heard. I don't think I've ever seen anything that Amber Heard's in and recognized that it was her and gone, oh, she's good.
I wouldn't know her.
If it wasn't for Johnny Depp, I'd have no idea who she was.
Yeah.
And even Johnny Depp, I think the last movie I enjoyed of his was Pirates of the Caribbean as a kid.
Yeah. You didn't like Fear and Loathing?
Yeah, but I watched that. Like, that was an earlier movie. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was fun. But this is now a story of... There's guaranteed truth of who abused and hurt each other.
Yeah.
Right? Amber Heard's story is, he abused me and told me he was going to kill me.
Yeah.
And then there's other stories or recordings of, I didn't hit you, I punched. I didn't punch you, I hit you. There's a difference. So like,
She said that.
yeah,
She said I'm.
she has hit him.
Yeah.
He has possibly hit her.
Yeah.
They're both possibilities. They're both stories. Guaranteed, there's a bit of truth behind both of it.
Mm.
And both of them should shut up and leave and just not be in the public because they're both excusing this behavior.
Yeah.
And even worse, on all the like news websites that are posting these links on social media, everyone in the comments are going, I see through her bullshit. She is such a dumb actor.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden are people like, these are the same people who maybe a year ago would have been like, believe women, me too.
This has been going on for a long time.
2015 was like the incident in Australia.
Yeah.
But it's like all of a sudden everyone's allowed to say, no, not me too. Like, yeah.
Oh, like believe all women and...
Yeah, I guarantee, like...
But I have a problem with what you're saying there, which is these are the same people that said that. Like, you have no evidence of that
Yeah, you're right.
Venn diagram. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know that these are the same people who are saying that same thing.
More to the point of there's a lot more commentary on, shut up. You didn't get hit once. I believe in Johnny.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. They both did it.
Well, because...
it was a shit toxic relationship where they both pushed each other's boundaries, got in each other's faces, hurt each other, and now they're both manipulating these stories to make the other one look like shit because there's $50 million on the line. Shut up.
Well, I think a lot of people are defending John because he's cool.
No,
He has a cool look.
Nah, fuck him.
He does. Long hair.
Nah, he's a dick.
Cool little
He
gay
hit
beard.
women.
Cool little beard.
He potentially hit a woman.
But he maybe didn't.
And maybe...
Here's the thing. So, both guys have probably been driven to the point by a normal, good woman that's like, I wish I could hit you. Imagine an insane woman coming after you.
So
they're probably gonna.
I think there's personality traits, right, of certain people that if pushed far enough will go to the extent of hurting their partner, male or female.
Yeah.
And sometimes so a lot of domestic violence relationships, a lot of domestic violence relationships is a person hitting the other, and it's a control thing, and there might be more like there's manipulation from this guy to this woman a lot of the time, or vice versa. If you want to believe whatever, that's fine, but it's this control thing. Not to say that this woman isn't doing something that pushes this guy's buttons. Like sometimes it is that case. The difference is in this instance, just for example, she pushed the buttons of a man who hit back.
He maybe hit back.
Well, there's a lot of... this comes down to the, I believe women. I think they both hit each other because there's no way that both of them are denied. Like, he's never said, I did not hit her. I did not.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's truth to both stories. Both of these idiots.
You're just saying there's truth to both stories. There might be no truth to either of the stories.
Because why the fuck would they be...
There doesn't have to be any truth to anything. They could just both be bullshitting because they think it's a fun publicity stunt.
How much money
you don't know
do you reckon
anything.
they're getting for this?
Nothing. You can't make money out of court stuff.
Well, you can. You win the court case.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
50 million.
I think. Anyway.
I hate it. I think it, like the amount of news that I've seen on it. And initially I started watching Johnny Depp and I'm like, oh man, she's such a bad person. And then I saw her on the stands and saw people commenting and I'm like, no one knows anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of evidence back and forth, but they're just both wankers with money.
She is a bad person though.
No, fuck both of them. They're both
Well,
shit.
they're both actors. And as we've discussed several times, pretty much everyone famous is a wanker.
Yeah.
Except for people whose work isn't worth watching, like Dave Grohl.
And we love Dave Grohl.
We do, even if
Did
we
you
don't
end up
love his
listening to
music.
Foo
No, I
Fighters?
didn't.
I Tried.
Unlistenable. Okay. Now, this week's... Is that enough news?
Yeah, do you need a chair, Jay?
No. Anyway, this week's debate...
We're doing a debate.
We're doing a debate. What is the worst thing about being a dad?
All right.
Now, we're going to have 2 runners-up...
And a finale.
And the one big versus thing. All right.
So,
You're going first?
we'll go one each.
Yeah, we'll go one each.
Do we do one,
Run- run-
1, 2, 3? Or
We can... No,
one,
1, 1, 1,
two,
1. Yeah,
three,
yeah.
three.
Okay, so what is your third thing about being a dad?
All right. Now, I know that you want to not let me talk. You want to silence me.
Okay.
But, okay. My number one. My number one
You're number
runner-up.
3. Okay.
Okay, number 3. My number 3. Assessing risk.
Yeah.
Okay, so with kids, you're obviously always assessing risk. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a scenario. It is a little bit, so just bear with me. So every morning, TJ is not a morning person. He gets up, rolls around in bed, rolls around. Okay, mate, come on, let's get breakfast. Goes to the kitchen, opens the fridge, stares. Shuts the fridge, opens the cupboard, stares. Shuts the cupboard, realizes he was meant to go and get dressed first. So he goes back to his room and get dressed.
Yeah.
He comes out again dressed with maybe his shirt on backwards, moves his shirt the right way, opens the fridge, stares, shuts it, opens the cupboard, stares, realizes he's meant to get the toaster. Gets the toaster out, makes his toast, finally sits down. By this stage, it's 30 minutes later, we're about to run late, and we're like, just hurry up, kid.
Yeah.
We gotta go. Losing our mind. So he shoves half the bit of toast in his mouth. Assessing risk. Now, he's gonna die if he chokes on that toast.
Yeah.
We're running late.
You're
We've
kind of
asked him
hoping
a
he
screw
does.
of times. Kind of hope he dies. It's at a point where we're like, the risk is there. We're going to let it happen
Yeah.
just in case. I hate the fact that it's assessing those moments where it's like, is it too bad? Is it more important for me that he could choke? Of course I don't let him choke.
Yeah.
I talk to him about it, but it's
Yeah. So,
assessing risk.
yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't have any problems with being a dad. I love being a dad. I'm such a good dad. And there's no bad
That's not
things
the
about being a
debate.
dad.
That's not the debate. You
Kidding.
can't-
I'm kidding.
You can't make me like, Kevin hates being a dad. This is dad verse hates being
Yeah.
a dad.
No, that was a joke.
Good. Fuck you.
No. So my third one was initially my first.
Ooh.
And I thought about it, and maybe it might not even be a bad thing. Anyway, poo is the worst thing about being a dad. Now,
Yeah.
the poo is only a problem for a very short time in their life. You know, when they're in the nappies, and then when you're still wiping their butt, and then it's not really not really a problem until maybe an accident happens or whatever.
Or not
So-
flushing the toilet.
Or not flushing the toilet. So it's not really a thing you have to deal with for that long. And you become so desensitized to it. Like, if
Yeah.
any non-parents are listening and they're hearing about poo, you basically touch poo every day, multiple times a day as a dad.
And it just happens, and you go,
It just happens. And
oh,
But
I can
it's
wash
like-
that off. That's fine.
before having kids, even the thought of being like in the same room as a poo that isn't your own and it's about to be flushed is so gross. Like seeing one anywhere, it's like, oh, it's just enough to make you gag. And like when your kids poo, you become so desensitized. Like sometimes the smell will make you gag, but like cleaning it up, accidentally touching a bit, like it doesn't. It's like,
You move on.
whatever.
This
yeah.
has to happen. I'll go and clean my hands
Yeah.
before I eat my breakfast.
yeah. Yeah, and it just becomes such a normal part of your day. It's almost a non-problem. But so maybe that problem is either the problem of being desensitized to poo or just poo. Yeah, just poo. Poo's my runner-up. What's your next runner-up?
That'd probably be a winner. But you'd have non-dads voting. And
Oh, that should have been my number one because my actual number one's pretty confusing and probably won't get votes.
yeah,
Anyway,
that's why I think I'm going to lose.
go your number two.
It's been a while since I did a debate. Fighting children.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the last, not me fighting children, the
Yeah.
kids fighting each other.
Yeah.
The last argument that the kids had was Rusty coming out and being like, he's making the toys too powerful. And I just can't have that fight.
Yeah.
And so you don't have this problem because
Yeah.
you have one child.
No, so I fight
So-
with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's sitting there going, the dolls are fighting. No, we are. And to the point of the amount of times that we get in the car and it's like, he's got his leg on my side.
Yeah.
Shut up. I'm so over the fights that I just, like, as a parent, you're probably meant to just go, just ignore it. Just ignore it. It'll go away. But they just keep going and push it and fight. And then the fight's about the front seat. Anyway, that's my number two. Probably should have been number one. I hate
I'm
it so much.
swapping my two and number one.
Oh,
Okay.
I wish I hadn't.
So this is going to be on a number one, and it is a huge problem. It's almost tied for number one, but other parents.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just every other parent. I mean like the bad ones. Like I think I discussed it last week. The mother who I worked with, who was like proud of how shitty she was of a parent. She was like proud that she'd spoil her kids and give them junk food all the time. Like they basically lived off sugar. And they'd like she was proud of how much screen time they got, which was like the second they get home from school until an hour and a half after bedtime, then
How
they
are
have to
you
turn
proud
their
of that?
things up. Yeah, she was just like, well, because I think no one's like, oh, I'm so ashamed of, well, whenever I do anything, it's like, oh, I'm ashamed of my parenting that I just did there. But she was so proud of that. Her kids, whenever they come into the store, were just nightmares. They just bounce off all the
I hate
walls
that.
and they were just insane. They would never do what they were told. And like, you see other parents like this, and the worst thing about it, like when you don't have kids, it's like, haha, those kids are fucked. When you have kids, it's like, oh my God, my kid might go to school with those kids. She might end up friends with them or just have to deal with these nightmare kids who are spoiled and entitled and just shitty, and she has to go to school with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And we had another kid at the school who was, the kid himself was actually super polite, super sweet,
Yeah.
but the mum would cause the problems.
Yeah.
She would come to the school and she'd sit there and like whisper in his ear, and then the kid would laugh, and then my kid would be bullied.
Right.
Like, your mum's a wanker.
Yeah, that's
Your mum's a
awful.
dick bag, and I want to burn her house.
Yeah. Other parents are the worst.
Other crap parents.
Yeah.
You know what? I
Other
love
good
good
parents.
parents.
Yeah.
I love, like, when I see other parents doing a good job, or when they, self-criticism is so important as a parent, and you need to be able to do it, and you need to be able to admit where you're wrong.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, then fuck you, your kid's shit.
Yeah, the kids are going to grow up to be as bad as you.
Yeah. Be able to sit there and go, man, I fucked that one.
Yeah.
Man, I yelled a bit too hard on that.
Yep.
I definitely shouldn't have put bleach in their milk.
All right, let's...
Number one.
Number one.
Talking of bleach in the milk.
Hmm?
Preventing death.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I'm talking about how there's moments where
Very close to risk assessment, but yeah.
well, no, risk assessment is assessing the risk of like what your
Yeah.
kid's doing and going, is this more important that they continue doing that or move
Yeah.
on? Preventing death is things like your kid's walking on the road and don't see a car,
Yep.
or your kid's making their toast
Yep.
and you see them grab the knife and consider putting that in the toaster.
Yeah.
Or your kid wants to play his Switch in the bath,
Yep.
but it's running out of battery.
Yeah.
There's some things I would, it's, and even things like climbing on the top of, no, that's assessing risk, preventing death.
Yep. Okay. I feel like that's the same as assessing risk, but yeah.
No, it's like
doesn't-
actually,
It doesn't matter that they're
but
a
I
bit
guess
the same.
as a parent, you're like,
It's just that bad, and you hate that fact about being a
I
dad.
just hate
having
being
to do that.
responsible. I just hate the fact that I'm always having to be responsible for keeping these kids alive.
Yeah.
Like sitting in the back seat and one of them hasn't clicked properly. Oh no, I haven't done my seat.
Yeah.
Preventing death.
Yep. Okay. Preventing death. That's pretty bad.
It's a big problem. I think it's just taking responsibility.
I don't know that this one has been that much of a problem for you, or as much of a problem, but my number one problem is bedtime. Obviously, after they've gone to bed, bliss, heaven. Like,
Bedtime's
dad
good.
time to watch Top Gear and Auntie Donna. But getting them to sleep can be an absolute nightmare. Like, it's sometimes they can be easy. Go to bed, it's fine. Most nights, no. It's going to take an hour to an hour and a half of,
I used to have that issue,
yeah.
but I had a really. So I don't believe in.
Wait,
Okay, go.
because you started a pointless story interrupting my thing. Sometimes it takes like an hour and a half to get them to sleep, like playing music, sometimes fighting with them. Like sometimes they'll be fighting going to sleep and they'll get angry and yelling and screaming and crying. Those are often the better ones because they wear themselves out
Yeah.
and they go to sleep faster.
But it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is exhausting. Some of the harder ones are when they don't fight it. They just don't sleep. They're just staying awake and just refusing to just enter a sleep state. And they can be like that for like an hour and a half. And you're
So-
just like, just sleep,
But
please.
this
I just want to
is-
watch Auntie Donna.
This is a you problem.
No. This is
No,
almost every parent problem.
So it used to be a problem for me because
Yeah.
I'd sit there and I'd hold my hand over the cot and hold Rusty's hand.
yeah.
And I get a dead arm. And then all of a sudden I'm like, he's 1.5. What am I doing?
yeah.
I'm gonna take my hand away. Every now and then I'll pat him, I'll move my hand away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit and play Animal Crossing.
Yep. No,
Play my
and
Switch.
I do that stuff. I'll play games on my phone and stuff while
Yep.
she's going to sleep. And it has had varying degrees of being a problem. There's been times where it wasn't much of a problem. She'd just go to sleep in like 10 minutes and
Yeah.
then we're done.
But there's
And that's the thing. Before he was 1.5, that was a problem.
I don't believe in controlled crying.
Okay.
I think that's ridiculous. I think putting a kid
I've
in a
got
room
no
to
idea what that is. What's controlled crying for everyone who's...
So controlled crying is where you put a kid in the room and they cry it out and they tire themselves out and they go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
You basically put your kid to bed to scream, cry and freak out while you sit in the lounge room curled in a ball.
Yeah.
I can't handle this.
Yeah.
No, you let them cry it out. But no, I don't believe in that. I
No.
think there's like you... And then some people do it as like you walk in, they cry, you walk out.
Yeah.
Sorry, other way. You walk out, they cry, you go back, and then the separation between times gets longer
Yeah.
and longer. The way that I did it was I did sit with him for a while. I held his hand, I progressed.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I did walk out.
Mm.
When I'd sensed that he was tired enough for me to leave, I'd go, all right, I'll come back soon, okay?
Yeah.
You just lay there, I'll come back. And then eventually I'd lengthen the time that I wouldn't come back. And that, like,
Yeah.
he knew that I was coming back. They build that trust, but they know that you're not going to sit there the whole time and wait by their side.
Yeah. Now, it's not just that part of bedtime. It's also getting them ready for bed. Have you brushed your teeth? No. Have you brushed your teeth yet? No.
My kids are pretty good.
Yeah, sometimes. Or they come out like an hour after they've gone to bed.
Ugh.
I actually thought that maybe I would like a snack. I can't remember. I've seen Rusty do it a few times. He'd come out like a good
Yeah.
hour or so after we put him to bed, and he's
Yep.
come out.
That's
I'm
on
actually
times
not
where
sleep.
Vera stays over though.
Yeah.
When it's a weeknight, a school night, routine.
Yeah.
All right, everyone's done. Everyone's good. Read, bed, sleep, gone. Stay in bed. They know to stay in bed.
Yeah.
It took a while to get there, but
And
now
it was-
that I've achieved it, bedtime's fine. It's good.
Yeah,
Love
okay.
bedtime.
So difficult bedtimes are the worst, though.
No, I
Like, they
love-
haven't always been a good, dreamy
difficult-
time.
yeah. It's not the worst, though, because I knew that it was going to get better. Because the older kids, it's just a progression. It's part of that thing.
Yeah.
And by the time that you finally get a routine or a structure that works, where the kid isn't jumping out of bed every 5 minutes or crying for you, by the time that happens, you feel so much achievement that you're like, I win. I feel good that I went through all of that.
So that's exactly... So, and it is similar to, like, Dark Souls or Elden Ring or something. The bosses in those games are
For anyone
ridiculously hard.
For anyone who's not a gamer, these are video games.
Yeah, these are
where
video
they're
games.
very tricky, and you slog for hours and hours trying to get past a bit.
Yeah, I'm explaining that so I can relate
Sorry.
it to my point.
Do it.
So the bosses in these games are insanely hard. And they take a lot of practice, a lot of time, a lot of getting to know their movesets until you can finally beat them. And it's so satisfying when you do. But before you beat them, it's just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
And that's the same with this boss of getting your kids to bed. Until you get that good routine down, it is a nightmare.
Tell me though.
Like, we got to the point where we did have a good routine with Vera. We were getting her down easy. She was going to bed on her own.
Yep.
And then she had these awful incidences at school with a kid. It was
Yeah.
like this kind of bullying thing. I don't really want to get into it on the podcast.
But that's a thing. That's
Let me finish. And that ruined the progress we'd made towards her going to bed early. And it like
I do remember.
all she could do was talk about this kid every night, like, oh, I'm worried about this kid tomorrow or whatever. Even she still sometimes brings up this kid, even though she's not in school with him anymore and will never see him again. But yeah, so we're back to bad bedtimes. But it's just, it is a difficult, awful thing to deal with until you don't have to anymore. You don't have to anymore,
Yeah.
but it has been a difficult thing. Sometimes staying up for hours putting these kids to sleep. When they're babies, waking you up all the time, having to get them to sleep.
I will agree that bedtime hasn't always been joyful.
Yeah.
And on the nights where they do refuse to go to bed, it's not always fun, especially when you've got things to do and it's important and whatever.
Yeah. Well, because you're always looking forward to dad time.
Well,
Always
yeah,
keen for that
yeah.
next Arnie Donna episode.
Oh, yeah. Yep. But at the same time, it's like, to me, it's not the biggest issue. You know
No,
what I mean?
it's not. And like, yes,
I don't
it's
hate
keeping
it.
a kid alive is the biggest issue. Do I hate that about being a dad? No. I'm basically a hero every day. Every day, I'm a superhero. I assess the risks and I go, all right, I'm going to get in there and stop that grape from choking you.
You ever had to grab a kid off the road and they start crying because you're like, whoa! And they go, you pulled me! You're
No.
like, you were going to die!
No, but I've done
You were
similar
gonna
things.
die.
Yeah, and that's great. It's like, yes, hero.
Oh, yeah, it's great
I
to have the
saved-
kid
No.
cry at you because you pulled them out of the way of a moving...
Yeah, it's
bus.
better for them to cry at you for an extreme situation than cry at you because they don't want to go to bed. Like, the thing is, like, dealing with dangers and that kind of thing, it's all reasonable. They understand that kind of thing. Dealing with them going to sleep, it's such a basic daily function. And them fighting
Watching
that.
a kid almost get hit by a car is traumatic for you.
Yeah,
Putting a kid to bed is traumatic for them.
and you.
Why?
Because it's difficult.
No, but you get over it. You move on and you go, you know what?
Yeah, and you
Bedtime
move on
sucks.
after-
But my God, it's
after
good to
saving
beat
their
it.
life.
I've beat
You feel like a hero. You tweet about
No,
it. You go,
'cause
I saved a kid today.
I had a friend whose kid was riding his scooter along the side of a lake for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
Right? Just cruising along. Kid was in front. They were talking to another parent, just going for a lake walk.
Yeah.
Kid fell in the lake.
Yeah.
Freaking out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Guy on a bike rides past, gets the kid out, saves him.
Yeah.
Traumatic for everybody. Super glad that he was safe.
That sounds like a human problem, though, not a dad problem.
But
It's not dad specific.
preventing death is horrific.
Preventing death is
It's
something.
a story that you continue to... you know what?
It's
I've
not just
never heard
something
any parent sit there and go, geez, there was one time that it was so hard to get this kid to go to bed. Whereas if it's like...
No, they don't say this one time it was difficult to get him to bed because it's their entire life for like 3 to 4 years.
It doesn't need to be because kids eventually get it.
Yeah, eventually. Until then, it's a nightmare every night. You might have 1 or 2 times you have to save your kid's life. And the thing is, accident prevention and saving lives and that kind of thing, that's a thing everyone does every day. That's a part of life. If you see someone about to get hit by a car, a little old man, he's about to cross the road, you're right behind him, he's about to get hit by a car. Whoa there, buddy. He's not going to cry afterwards, but he'll be really grateful. But the putting him to bed, that's specifically a parent problem. No one else is experiencing this nightmare of a problem. For saving lives, that's kind of cool. That's really cool.
You ever have to put a friend to bed?
Sometimes. Why? What's your point?
I don't know. I just wanted to ask.
All right. Well, okay. So
Fuck,
that's
you've
the
won again,
debate.
you
Is
country boy.
what is the worst thing about being a dad? Is it putting your kids to bed, or is it saving their lives? How do you want to phrase that? Because saving their lives sounds really good. That sounds like a great thing to do. Is that a bad thing? That's the best
No,
thing.
it's preventing death.
Preventing death. Okay, that sounds bad.
Saving lives.
It's the exact same
I hate
thing.
being a dad because I hate saving lives. No.
What does preventing death mean?
I hate preventing... Oh. Oh no, how am I going to phrase this?
All right, anyway, we're going to go...
There'll be I'll put a thing. This is what it's going to say. I'm going to have to put a post edit right here. Vote for bedtime or whatever this says.
Yeah, okay. Now it's time for a weigh-in.
So before we jump into the weighing, so Jeremy, how did you go with your week? Like, what did you eat well? Did you not eat well?
I mostly ate well, but then one day I ate 3 bags of chips and a pack of Maltesers and some Crowns.
I had...
Oh, and I made an amazing breakfast wrap.
Yeah.
Cooked up some bacon, scrambled some eggs, made hash browns like these.
Oh,
I made them different, like really
How do you
thin.
make hash browns?
I'll show you. I made them this really cool thin way.
Yeah.
And cheese all on a burrito roll. It was amazing.
Damn. So I've been
So
trying
good.
this thing, right? Because my... Oh, I'm not...
You're in that one to talk to that.
Because my... This turn, I'll tell you when. Yeah, we go. Okay, so this week, my eating habits. Oh, yeah. So I did something good. I don't want to talk about it on the pod, but something happened where it was an achievement.
Yep.
And so while I was working, Ellie Uber Eats'd me some donuts.
Aw.
It was so good. So I just reward donuts. It was great. And I ate all of them very quickly. Apart from that, I've been doing the intermittent fasting.
Yeah, cool.
So not eating past 8 and not eating before 12.
Yep.
And then I have been not having seconds,
Yeah.
not overeating.
Yep.
Portion control, it's still pretty, my meals are still pretty big. I
Yeah.
had 3 sausages and bread, but I'm not really full afterwards.
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
And I tried that trick of eating something and then moving on to something else small, so you kind of remove that taste.
Yeah.
Yogurt
So you're
afterwards
not
is like,
thinking about it.
yeah, brilliant, smart move.
Yep.
I reckon I've lost this week.
Okay.
I reckon I've lost a good amount because I was 137.3. I'm gonna go
It
first.
was epic. Okay.
All right. I was 133.7.
137.3 even.
137.3. And you can see.
Let's see if we can break the 140 barrier.
God, how funny would it be?
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, my weight loading trick didn't work. There's a bit of plastic stuck to Kevin's foot. Ooh, whoa.
134.5.
That is a huge loss. Was that 2.8. Don't. I'm pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, here I go. I was 101.7 last week.
Yep. 101.7.
See if I can go under the 100.
Let's go. Oh, could you imagine? Now, we haven't eaten today.
Damn it.
100.5.
Oh,
100.5.
100.5.
So, I lost the most this week.
You did.
But congrats. A loss is good. I think, I'm really enjoying this weight loss thing, especially after last week where,
So I lost 1.2 again. That's 2 weeks in a row, same weight.
I'm only 1.1 below, above my lowest weight loss.
The lowest weight you were,
After
yeah.
a week of my highest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good week. Just
yeah.
got to keep up what you did this week. Celebratory donuts.
Yeah.
Let's do our plugs now, and then we're going to move to our challenges, which is a push-up challenge. Kevin's going to go first. He's going to set the bar, and I'm going to do one. So,
Are you actually going to try?
yeah,
You better try.
I am, but I'm like the other week when I tried and did one, I really couldn't do another. Facebook.com. If you want more Dad vs. Dad content, it's at facebook.com/Dad vs. Dad podcast.
Or Instagram at Instagram.com/Dad vs. Dad podcast. One of these days I'll get it right.
And for the full video episodes and bonus content, go to patreon.com/Dad vs. Dad.
Now, you can look us up on TikTok too. I put up a bit of a basketball challenge.
Yes, that's on the basketball challenge is on our YouTube. We don't have an easy YouTube link yet, but you can find links to it on Facebook.
Yep.
And check out our basketball challenge from last week.
And
Much fun. And the link was also in the description of last week's episode.
Yeah, it was. And also, if you have anything you want to tell us or say to us or abuse us or write nasty things towards our children, you can put it in an email at dadversedadpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, we're still looking for parenting stories and that kind of thing. Those are fun. I have enjoyed those so far.
Yeah, they've been really good.
Yeah. All right.
All right. We'll go into this challenge.
Thing.
Okay. All right.
All right, here he goes. Kevin is about to do a push-up.
All right.
That grass feels awful on your hands too.
It's not good. Oh, the spider's coming at me.
Oh, perfect.
All right. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6,
7,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, man. Okay, you win. I give up. No. Okay.
Okay. Let's see how you go.
Alright.
Okay. What? Half? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
I have to beat you. Oh, that last one was like a very half one.
You had a few half ones. I don't know if I can count them. We might have to review them.
Why?
Because they weren't full push-ups. Were mine?
You went down not as low as I thought you would.
Okay, well.
You went down less slow than I was doing at home.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, I'd have to go less down.
I'd at least let my tummy touch the thing.
My tummy's a lot further from the ground than yours.
Okay. Alright, we'll do a review. You're saying 21. You don't get to push the thing yet. Stop. We're gonna watch the footage back.
Okay, so your head needs to come fully in shot, we'll say. If your head doesn't go fully in shot, that doesn't count.
What's the arms as well? So
No, but we'll count it from the head because
you
that's
can
a...
see the arms flat.
Because that wasn't flat. Those last three weren't flat.
They were much flatter.
But we'll say your head went into the thing.
Okay, yeah, but your head was down the whole time. You ready? Yeah. Watch these elbows. Six, 7, 10, 11, 15, 17, 18.
That last one was super not one.
Can we agree that you did hit the mark, but they weren't full push-ups?
No. But they were good enough.
No.
I'll say that was a tie.
You know what? No. You want to tie,
Yeah.
but I did 20 full low-level push-ups where my arms the whole time reached this level.
I didn't have a metric of my belly to know when I'd gone low enough.
But you just don't go. That's not a push-up.
Some of them weren't. One of them wasn't. One of them wasn't. We can try again later in the week.
I will agree that we will draw on this, but I would also like people to vote.
We'll just have a... No, we're going to have...
I would like people to vote on whether
No
they
more
thought
vote. You're already
Jeremy's
voting. That's enough
push-ups-
voting. Shut up for a second. We're going to have a rematch. We'll have a midweek... Whenever we get a chance, we'll have a rematch. We'll call this one a draw for now because we don't agree.
Can we put up a secondary video? You film while you're at home. When you're ready to do 20 push-ups.
Yeah, okay. We'll just film them ourselves in our own apartments. Yeah.
I don't think I need to do them again.
No, you do. And you know what?
What?
Do as many as you can. I'll do as many as I can. So we don't know until we reveal the videos.
Like, don't even count.
Yeah. So no doubt of the week this week because Jeremy cheated on his push-ups. And Jeremy doesn't agree with that. And bye again.
Bye, Hungers.
We're dads.
Two brothers.
I found comedy has a lot of like dick jokes
Yeah.
and like all of the like the sexualization and stuff. And I'm like, we don't have any of that. We're very clean in that aspect,
Yeah.
which is good. I mean, we're not sleaze bags though. Like we've
No,
never been.
we're not.
that.
We're very pretty wholesome guys, I think.
Thanks, Mum.
Yeah. Like we enjoy a good cuss.
Love a good cuss.
Some racism. No.